So Miss Al, I don't know if you remember, but when we're all standing out at the White House waiting to get in to celebrate all the teachers, Olivia and I went, my daughter went with me, and we were in the back of the line. And then when they actually said, we're going to set up the line like teachers would alphabetically, my daughter goes, when I get married, I am never changing my name. And that's how we met Miss Al, because A, she's right there. But I put Livia to be the first one in line to go in the White House. A couple of you wanted to really know if I broke microphone 4. I did not. Microphone 4 was not broken. It was sent to the microphone 4 factory to change the light bulb. It will return next year for Leslie. Thank you, Mona. You represent the best of what's going on in our nation's classrooms. Thank you so much for your commitment to teaching, not just the day-to-day curriculum, but also the important life skills and values that students in today's world need to thrive. You are a great example of the PTA mission in action. I can't believe how fast this convention has flown by, being in Ohio, America's heartland. Over the last few days has been great. You know that. So, at this point...
Hey, Dad.
What's up?
What? What's up? Hey, guys, what are you doing there? I'm trying to actually be in the middle of a general meeting here. Uh-oh. Tammy, there's nothing
well, since
on
this
the
is your
center
last
screen.
convention as National PTA President, we're both officially out of school, we wanted to give you some moral support because this is the end of the road. No more PTA dad at Olivia's school because there's no PTA at my job or Olivia's university.
Right. So if there's no PTA at your job and no PTA at the university, don't give me any ideas. I'm about to have more free time on my hands.
Yeah.
AJ, let's quit while we're ahead. Dad, what he means to say is, we're proud of you and you did a good job. And there's a bright future ahead of you, whatever you decide to do.
Isn't that my line as your parent?
Yes, but we wanted to tell you that while it was still a little different having you attend so many other PTA events across the country instead of in our neighborhood and state, we're happy you were able to serve America's children in such an important way.
Well, thank you, guys. All right, so we can discuss what Dad's next adventure is a little later, but now I'm going to get back on script, so see you guys later. Thanks for coming out here. Bye, guys. So I just wanted to say something, and I'm going to move to the center. But there is nothing more important than family, but many of you have sent prayers and wishes out regarding my mother-in-law. You noticed that I said 3 will be on stage, with my wife will be out here. I did this to represent children, right? That's who we're all about, and also teachers, and my wife's a teacher. So this is my wife left, and this is her mom in Palm Springs. She had most of her small intestine removed, not enough to actually ensure nutrition, but at least she's back up on her feet, and there she is in rehab, so my wife is with her in the hospital. She also sent me a very, very quick note. My gosh, this woman just went through this, and she actually said, congratulations to you as you complete your presidency of the National PTA Association. It has been a lot of work, but your contributions to our children and our country is much appreciated. She wrote that from the hospital. She's a caregiver. So, of course, I got to have replacements, right? So to replace my wife, I brought in 2 others. And that's Katie Accomando, my niece, graduate of the University of Vermont. She works for GE Aircraft in Ohio, in Cincinnati, engineering. And I don't know what people call their boyfriends or girlfriends these days, but there's Shannon. That's Shannon right there. I don't want to go any further definitions, but they met when they were hiking the Appalachian Trail. They both hiked it solo, which is the recommendation. And they met. No, it is. It's the recommendation to go solo. And as you go, you establish and get nicknames. Well, of course, this fits her perfectly. Katie's also my goddaughter. In case you didn't know Katie, you're my goddaughter. I know that. But her name became Voodoo, which is so typical of Katie. It's perfect. And Shannon, I'm going to embarrass you, but your name was Princess North Star. And they met on the trail. So perfect. All right, let's get into this. So there's nothing better than family, and a family who supports your dreams and goals and roots for you along the way, like my family does, is really, really, really special. We at PTA Family and I want us to root for each other. I want us to root for each other. Well, we are daring greatly throughout our mutual mission-focused journey together. I found a quote by probably one of my favorite presidents, Teddy Roosevelt, that I believe sums this up perfectly. And it goes, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, but there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." I love this quote, self-explanatory. It says everything about leadership at National PTA. Keep going, be persistent, and mindful that every decision you make today will impact the future. I said it yesterday. I was hoping to wait for today, but there was a great opportunity to say this yesterday, so it bears repeating. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time, right now. Each decision, challenge, opportunity, or experience should have our mission in mind to propel this association into a more responsive, revitalized, and relevant future. As you work together to accomplish more for children and their families, be creative, think critically, and dare greatly to fail in the pursuit of victory. Remember, there's only one way to avoid criticism, one way, and that's to do nothing, and that's to say nothing. Albert Einstein once said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new." Cast a stone in support of our common cause and see how far those ripples will travel. You'll be surprised how fast and how far your passion will travel if you are intentional as a leader and you model the behavior you want emulated in your team. Mother Teresa said it best, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters and create many ripples." You know, I remember as if it were yesterday, it's all about you guys, my first visit to Holland Hill Elementary School with my son AJ. I remember the feeling of both pride and joy as I was welcomed into a community of like-minded, dedicated, and focused caregivers who wanted the best for their children and their children's friends. We embraced our cause around the mission of PTA, even if none of us could even have recited its specific tenets. I felt as if membership in my local elementary school was really like having a backstage pass to the most meaningful show in town. And I always wondered why all families didn't take part in that same adventure that I was on. Thus began this PTA journey of mine, lasting almost 20 years, and counting. In the blink of an eye, where did the time go? My PTA journey has provided me a greater connection to my wife's life's work as an educator, as a mentor, a caregiver to her students. It has endeared me to some of my greatest memories with my children and their friends throughout their years in the classroom and beyond. I was recently asked about my favorite PTA memory from when AJ and Olivia were in school. Oh, there's my cute little kids. My house is literally right next to that sign. We are the back school neighbor. My mind immediately went to the surprised look on their faces, good or bad, when they saw their dad was at school. Some of us can remember our own parents coming to our classroom or helping with a school event, and boy, was it exciting. Even back when my own mother was the lunch lady. You ever remember that term, remember? The lunch lady? And the den mother. Or my dad was the basketball coach in grade school. I was experiencing the benefits of active parenting, and they were sowing seeds in me that bore fruit as I continued in school and started volunteering in my own kids' schools. I share this thought with any parent of young kids who'll listen. Do not wait to get engaged in your child's education and school community. Do what you can, because every little bit helps your kids love it, mostly. And then the school years go by very, very fast. As I said, in the blink of an eye, they're over. And you do not get that time back. As young parents, as I once was, you think that time is moving very, very slowly, right? You got all this stuff going on. The endless soccer matches, Livia. The talentless talent shows. Come on, let's be real. Do not sugarcoat those things. The long meetings, many of you. Not to mention transporting each child to and from the endless parade of activities, many times, and of course, in opposite directions. You can't put the fields in the same part of town, right? My son, AJ, has since graduated from college, and for the last 2 years, he's been working and living in the D.C. area. Thank you, National PTA, for putting your headquarters where my son is. I really appreciate that. My daughter, Olivia, is a rising sophomore at the University of Maryland. Another quick stop over there. Aspiring to be a what? A speech pathologist. Yay, 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 Livy. Now it seems like time flew by. I think about it often. What wouldn't you give to sit on the sidelines for 5 hours to watch an endless track and field meet where your child's events are, of course, first and last? All right, so maybe that's an extreme example, right? What you wouldn't give to go back to that, but you get my point. Enjoy every one of those moments. They tend to move a little slower, and then later, in the blink of an eye. My PTA story in these 2 years as your 55th National PTA President have come to a close. It all went by in that blink of an eye. I'll continue to support the mission and my duties as an immediate past president and join the ranks of our past National PTA Presidents and their proud legacy. Each one of you represents the power of PTA. You represent the power of family. You represent the power of community. You represent the power of engagement. You make our voice strong. Everyone in this room and in your state help create the best opportunities for every child to reach their full potential, to succeed. How do we continue the cycle and compel more parents to join PTA so 50 plus years from now, PTA is not only still relevant, but remains the conscience of our country in the areas that affect our children? Well, you know how we do that? We continue to plant trees today for tomorrow. 2 years ago, I gave you each a homework assignment. I don't know if you remember. Who was here 2 years ago? It's time to collect those homework assignments. My time is running low. I asked that you get back into the field, attend a community event, visit a local school in need, read to a class, use your voice to advocate to your school board or state legislature, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I asked you to lead boldly, think like an entrepreneur, be creative, in some cases, Be passionate with reckless abandon. And I asked you to stay connected to your why and reflect upon your belief system that brought you to PTA in the first place. I hope you continue to do that homework every school year. And here's a new set of challenges. I can't call it homework, but I can certainly call it challenges for you. First, remember that we are all in it for the mission equally, equitably, first and foremost. I like to think the A in PTA stands for all children, and the O in PTO stands for our children. The perspective is clear. Our key differences and strengths lie in our unity. At PTA, we represent all of our nation's children, not just the children in our own school. Next, I challenge each of you to be kind, to be just, and to be fair. Everyone's efforts and contributions may differ, but their intentions are the same. Be quick to trust. Be quick to trust. More importantly, be quicker to forgive. And finally, I challenge you to stay in your lanes. If you're an outgoing leader like me, there's plenty of roles for you to play. You can be a mentor, you can be a coach, you can be a trainer, you can be a supporter. Most importantly, the best role you can be an ambassador. Allow your younger leaders to grow and flourish in their new roles and responsibilities. Empower your teams, establish the vision, and create the goals and objectives to achieve positive results. Step back and provide the leadership, the direction, and the clarity for others to succeed. I am optimistic and hopeful that we will not just persevere, but we're going to thrive. You know, I love an inspirational quote, and one of my favorites sums it up for me perfectly. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car that I drove. But the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child. I love that quote. So let's leave here today and be that all-important force in the lives of all children. Thank you, PTA. Thank you all for giving me this life-changing opportunity to walk alongside each and every one of you as we make a difference in the lives of all children. God bless you all.